Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about solving inequalities with parentheses and like terms in the same inequality. So remember from previous lessons, notice that it's the same steps we talk about. The first step is always to distribute if you have parentheses. And you want to distribute the term on the outside to every term on the inside of the parentheses. Your second step is to combine like terms on each side of the inequality. You should draw a line through the inequality sign and look to combine or add the similar terms on each side. And once you do those two steps, you would solve the remaining two-step inequality. So let's look at an example. Here's our first example. 2 times the quantity x minus 4 minus 6 is greater than or equal to negative 20. So we're going to draw our cool line through the inequality sign, which separates our two sides. We do have parentheses in this problem, so we're going to distribute the 2 to every term inside the parentheses. 2x minus 8. Remember, we're multiplying. We bring down the negative 6 since it's not inside the parentheses and rewrite our problem. Make sure when you're doing these problems, you're staying organized. Do a step, rewrite your problem, keep everything on the side it's on. Our second step is to combine like terms. So if we look on the left-hand side, we do have 2 like terms that are numbers or integers, negative 8 and negative 6. Those combine to be negative 14. Remember, you're adding. Okay, all you do when you're combining like terms is you add them up on the side they're on. Okay, you don't write underneath the problem when you're combining like terms. Bring down our inequality sign and then negative 20. And now we solve the remaining two-step inequality. Add 14 to both sides. 2x is greater than or equal to negative 6. Subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. Last step is to divide by 2. X is greater than or equal to negative 3. So now we have to graph our answer. Make your number line. We're on the negative side. Just putting a couple extra numbers on there. Close circle on negative 3 and shade to the right because we want values larger or greater than negative 3. In this case, greater than or equal to. So let's look at our next example. Negative 43 is greater than 9 minus 4 times the quantity 2x minus 1. So the first thing we're going to do, and again, if the pace is too fast, pause the video because maybe you're still writing a problem. You got to copy these down to be successful in math because you develop that mind and mental connection to what you're doing more effectively when you write it down. So make sure you write these problems down. If ever the pace is too fast, stop it. So the first thing we have to do is distribute. Now your mind and your eyes might be tempted to subtract these two, but do not do that because remember, when you're working with equations and inequalities, your first step is always to distribute. So we're actually going to distribute the negative 4 because that's the number. We're actually going to distribute the negative 4 because that is the number that is being multiplied by that parenthesis or touching it. So we bring down everything else. And negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. Negative 4 times a negative 1 is a positive 4. Now we could add the like terms up. We have a positive 9 and a positive 4. Those two combine to be positive 13. $8x. And now we solve. We have to isolate the negative 8x, so we subtract 13 from both sides. Negative 43 minus 13 is negative 56. Bring down our negative 8x. Last step is to divide by negative 8. I'm going to continue over here. So these two combine or divide to be positive 7. We do have to flip the sign though because we're dividing by negative 8. Notice I'm going left to right. X. We should rewrite that to help us graph it effectively. X is greater than 7. Remember, these two mean the exact same thing, but this one is easier for people to graph. So that's a 0 there. Open circle on 7 and shade to the right because we want to shade numbers greater than 7. So hopefully you're getting the hang of these a little bit. And if you remember equations, it's just like solving equations. All right, last one. Here's a nice one. Real large problem, but guess what? Just take it one step at a time. Okay, take your time. Stay neat and organized, and you're going to be fine. So your first step is to draw your cool line to separate our two sides. I really think that line is cool. And why do I think it's so cool? You might think I'm joking around, but it's so important for you guys to help you stay organized in terms of keeping things on the side they're on until you get to those last few steps of the problem. Okay? So we're going to distribute for both these parentheses. We distribute the 6 to this first quantity and the negative 8 to the second quantity. So we have 6x minus 12. That's multiplying both those terms by 6. In the second parenthesis, or second quantity, it's negative 8 times 5, which is negative 40. Negative 8 times a positive x is negative 8x. So we did all our distributing. Now we look to combine like terms. Remember, when you combine like terms, do not write underneath the problem. We combine these two. So 6x, or 6 plus negative 8, if you only worry about the x's right now. 6 plus negative 8 is negative 2, so now we can worry about the x, negative 2x. Okay? And we could also combine our integers, negative 12 and negative 40. Since they're both negative, that adds up to be negative 52. Okay? Rewrite our problem is less than negative 42. And now we have a two-step inequality. We've got to get this negative 2x by itself, so we're going to add 52. So negative 2x is going to be less than, we have positive 10 over here. Last step, negative 2 is being multiplied to x, so we divide by negative 2. And we get x is greater than negative 5. We had to flip the, oops, sorry. We had to flip the sign here because, running a tight space, I apologize. We divided by a negative 2. So anytime you multiply or divide both sides of your inequality by a negative number, you got to flip that sign. Okay? So we have x is greater than negative 5, so we're going to be on the negative side of our number line, or to the left of 0. Open circle on negative 5 because it's greater than, but we want to shade numbers greater than negative 5, so shade to the right. So hopefully you found this video lesson helpful. Now that the problems are starting to get a little bit larger, it's so important that you're staying neat and organized with your work. Okay? And maybe I should have actually done this. I have the option. Maybe I should have used lined paper. Okay? So don't be afraid to use lined paper and put each step on a different line. That way you're neat and organized with your work. Okay? So hopefully you found this video lesson helpful. Distribute first, combine like terms second, and then solve the two-step inequality. If you have any questions at all, please let us know. You could also rewatch previous video lessons on solving inequalities involving parentheses, and then solving inequalities with like terms that would also help you with this lesson and with the activities for the lesson today. Have a fantastic day.